Episode 5, Smart Cities, a New Tower of Babel, Genesis 11, verse 4. Then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth." Humanity has always sought to build a perfect world, one free from suffering, hardship, and uncertainty. The Tower of Babel was humanity's first recorded attempt to unite under a vision of self-sufficiency, a utopia built on human achievement rather than dependence on God. Today, we see a similar pursuit through smart cities, entirely digitized urban environments where AI, surveillance, and automation promise a seamless, optimized life. At first glance, this sounds amazing. Less traffic, energy-efficient living, and safety measures powered by real-time data. But beneath the surface, the same dangers that surrounded Babel still apply. When humans build a world that removes the need for God, they don't create paradise. They create control. Revelation 17:13 warns of a time when the nations of the world will have one purpose and will give their power and authority to the beast. The question is, could smart cities be a step toward this kind of unity? Not one under Christ, but under a system that demands allegiance? And here's where the real concern arises. What happens when access to these perfect cities depends on compliance? When AI determines who gets housing, who can travel freely, and who belongs? What begins as efficiency often ends in control, because a utopia built without God will always become a tool of oppression. But the Bible reminds us in Psalm 127:1, "Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain." No human system can bring lasting peace, no matter how advanced. Our trust must remain in God, not in the promises of technology-driven utopias. One of the biggest concerns with smart cities isn't just the technology itself, it's the mindset they promote. When daily life becomes entirely dependent on a digital ecosystem, faith-based decision-making could quickly come into conflict with what the system requires. Imagine a world where accessing resources, traveling freely, or even gathering for worship is controlled by an AI-driven infrastructure. At first, the restrictions would seem reasonable, perhaps tied to security or environmental concerns. But over time, the ability to opt out may disappear. What happens when church gatherings are deemed non-essential because digital attendance is preferred? Or when AI monitoring flags certain teachings as intolerant and restricts access to public spaces for those who don't conform? Then there's the financial aspect. Many smart city initiatives are tied to digital currencies and centralized payment systems. If believers hold views that clash with the dominant ideology, could they find themselves financially restricted? We've already seen social credit systems used to limit travel and employment based on behavior in some parts of the world. It's not a stretch to imagine these methods being expanded globally. And what about privacy? Revelation 13 speaks of a time when no one can buy or sell without the mark. While we can't say for sure how that prophecy will unfold, smart cities provide a framework where every purchase, movement, and interaction is monitored. Could this be a stepping stone toward a system that eventually requires loyalty, not to God, but to a centralized global authority? This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Believers need to be mindful of the systems being built around them and intentional about how they engage. The early church thrived in times of opposition by standing firm in faith, living in community, and trusting God for provision. That same mindset will be essential in the years ahead. Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. No matter how the world changes, no matter how systems of control rise or fall, God remains sovereign. He has not called us to fear, but to faith, to stand firm, to trust in his provision, and to remember that our future is not in the hands of human governments or technological elites. It is in the hands of the Almighty. So as we navigate these shifting times, let's keep our eyes on him. Let's walk in wisdom, staying informed but never anxious, always remembering that Christ has already overcome the world. Stay strong, stay faithful, and stay blessed.